Hello everyone, welcome to Z Taxi. If you are new for this channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Have you ever felt like the backup plan for a woman when you should have been her first option? Years ago, my cousin Louis started talking to a lady named Maria. At first, they had a strong connection and were feeling quite intensely, but as the weeks passed, he started to feel like something wasn't quite right. Every time Louis attempted to schedule a date with Maria, it seemed like she was always busy and would come up with a long list of reasons why not. He was ready to lay it all out there, thinking that they could move past this phase, but Maria texted him 2 hours beforehand, saying that she was held up at a work event and that she couldn't make it. Don't get me wrong, everyone has their own lives, but she kept rescheduling him, so he began to feel like he was just there to fill like the little gaps in her schedule. Finally, one Friday night, my cousin had booked dinner at this rooftop restaurant, thinking that it would be a good time for them to actually connect. It was a crushing realization that struck him like a ton of bricks that he wasn't her priority and was only someone she could fall back on when she had nothing better to do. He came to me one day asking for advice on what to do, and I told him and any other man who's in the same situation exactly what to do. Later, we found out through mutual friends that she was at a different bar with some of her friends. The harsh reality is that in the dating game, if you're not the main course, you're just table scraps. If this describes you, don't worry, I have the unvarnished, unapologetic guide that will propel you from being a woman's maybe to her must-have step 1. We are not talking about a goodnight text that she sends as an afterthought. This is about you and your worth and your presence being relegated to a corner of her life. You should be the damn person. Read the room. Do you ever feel like you're just fitting into her busy life whenever it's convenient for her? That's your first red flag there. Principal event, not a remark. I want you to truly chew on that truth and grasp what it means, because admitting it is the first step to rewriting that script. No man worth his salt will allow himself to be reduced to an obscure role and stay there for an extended period of time. The reciprocity law is the second phase. Let's expose the falsehoods. This isn't a one-sided chess match. You're putting in the work, showing her attention, giving her your time, and whatever else, and she's giving you breadcrumbs in return. You're not just in a bad deal, you're teaching her that she can get away with it. Women are just as strategic as men, if not more so. This creates a highly risky dynamic in which she recognizes the advantages of minimal work. Her market value is being inflated by you, yet you're not getting paid for your investment. You currently have no return on investment, Roy. What should you do about this? Either you balance the books and receive the credit your work merits, or you end this one-sided transaction altogether. The same reasoning would apply if you were investing money in a terrible venture. Scale back your losses or strike a balance in your emotions. It's really as easy as that third step. You have to put yourself first. You want to be the person she's observing when you enter a room, so in order to do that, you have to stop treating her like the sun and you as a planet in her orbit. I'm not talking about merely ignoring a few calls or declining an invitation at the last minute. This is about creating the atmosphere you create and the energy you radiate the moment you walk through that door. Your goal is to create a magnetic pull of self-importance that gives her the impression that she's about to lose her footing. When she senses that your attention and focus have realigned and are no longer centering around her as the main event, that's when you've got her attention, because you go from being an accessory to becoming an essential key in her life, and she's not willing to lose it when she's not willing to lose step 4. If she's not careful, you've got to reframe the dynamics so you're not always the one that's readily available at her every beck and call. You should be living a life that is so fulfilling, so packed with purpose. The element of uniqueness, it's not simply a proverb that says, familiarity breeds contempt, it's real science. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as habituation. In layman's terms, it means that something that was once exciting has become dull and predictable. If you're a guy who consistently uses the same pickup lines and strategies, you're quickly putting yourself in the "who was that again" category. How do you overcome this? You need to change things up, flip the script, and keep her guessing about what you're going to do next. You want to be that unsolved puzzle that P is drawn to, that enigma that she is desperate to crack. You have to alternate between being the open book that she has already read and the secret that she is dying to uncover by reintroducing the element of mystery and intrigue. The fifth step: be the prize. A crucial error that many men do is to lay all of their cards on the table, giving her everything, and then they receive nothing in return. Why does this happen? It ultimately comes down to the value of scarcity, a straightforward yet commonly ignored idea. Though your time here is important, I'm not just talking about it. This is about something more than time. It all comes down to your emotional space and your complete focus. The less frequently you provide these commodities, the more she will come to understand that she not only needs them, but also craves them. You don't need to make an announcement about this change. Instead, be subtly changing how you allocate your time and resources. Make her feel the void and the absence. As she does, she will begin to wonder why she feels this way in the first place, and you will become the reason she is driven to succeed in your shift to scarcity. This should be her epiphany, or her "haha" the moment, which will help her realize how important you are. Step 6. Draw the lines at that point, because that's when she stops treating you like the quality man you've always been and started taking you for granted. This is crucial. Setting ground rules for an engagement is what it means to have boundaries. It doesn't mean severing ties with all emotions. This is your model of self-respect. You're not just someone she can walk all over. So go ahead and stimulate her curiosity, letting her wonder where you are, what you're up to, and who gets to spend time with you. But before you say it, this isn't a game plan. In a world when everything is at our fingertips, this is mental activity. It's time to bring back the concept of missing someone in your relationship dynamic, because it's been forgotten and turned into a power play. When you begin to draw these boundaries, her behavior should change as a result of your absence. The moment you restore her feeling of doubt, she starts to perceive you as someone she might lose, which changes the power dynamics. The genius of this tactic is that it instills in her a sense of emotional urgency so that, let's be honest, she begins to view you as a priority and not simply as a choice that she can afford to ignore. Nothing makes you more important in someone's life than the potential for your departure. Step 7. Give them a demonstration of your strength. Being a guy of unmatched substance implies that you are 100%, 150% irreplaceable. If your dependability is unwavering and your knowledge is firm, she won't just hesitate to reassess her entire stupid strategy. It's not just that you're a rarity, you're that driving force in her life that elevates it from ordinary to extraordinary. Losing you won't be an option for her. She won't look at you as just a guy she's dating. You're the man who adds depth, stability, and meaning to her life. Hammer that reality into her consciousness. Make her realize the magnitude of the absence that would be felt if you were to exit her life. So there it is, your game plan, from being just another guy to the man that she can't afford to overlook. It's not just about knowing these steps, it's about living them. As for the situation with my cousin Maria, began to notice the absence. The text and calls increased and the complete tone changed. It went from casual, nonchalant messages to more eager ones asking to meet up and talk. But by that point Louis had shifted his mindset. He knew his worth, and he wasn't willing to settle for anything less than being someone's main course rather than just being table scraps. So with that being said, I know it seems obvious, but most people don't actually ask their partners what they need or want. As I just said, most of us know what we like in a relationship and then end up doing those things for our partner thinking they'll be happy with that too. Or, your partner has asked for something previously or made a comment and you think, eureka! This is what they want, only to find out that you misunderstood or misinterpreted their response. It's also important to note that people's wants and needs change over time. If we got together when we were both in college, but now we've got real jobs, a mortgage, and 2.5 kids, we're going to want different things than our mostly carefree college alter egos. What worked at an earlier stage of your relationship might not work now. You always need to ask clarifying questions, because otherwise it's your interpretation of what you think your partner means. It might seem obvious to you, but don't be sucked in. It's not. Find out specifically what your partner wants to feel like a priority. What specific actions would you be taking? What would you be saying? How would you be behaving? If your partner says, "I want to feel heard," you might ask, "Can you give me an example of when you've felt heard before with me? What did I say or do that let you know I was hearing you?" If your partner says, "I want you to think of me first," you might ask, "Can you give me a few pointers on how you know I'm thinking of you first?" Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.
Bye!